But other than that, people are actually following suit and doing what they're supposed to do when it comes to masks, especially in some cases where they go to the stores and it's a thing that is now required to protect people, because there has been a spike, you all. There has been a major spike. They had 50,000 cases in one day, and the age has changed as far as for most likely to receive the virus now. Has gone from the elderly to young and middle age. Not to say that the young and the middle age aren't strong enough to withstand this thing, but people have died as far as for young and middle age. You also know that children have also passed from this thing, so nobody is safe from this thing, so take it seriously and wear a mask. It's that simple. Joe Biden even had a video that he sent to a lot of Americans about wearing a mask, and there's a big thing with the president wearing a mask, and there's all kind of things going on with that. So just wear a mask. Be smart about it. Cover yourself and cover others. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. Because if you take care of yourself, you're going to take care of others. And others may not care about you like you want them to, but at least you did your part, okay? Do your part. And then everything else should be all right. Other than that, you all, let's see. There have been states who have opened up and closed right back because of this thing. So there's been a reversal in openings in several states around the country. Places like Paris and different places in Europe no longer allow Americans to visit their country or their area, simply because we're more contaminated than they are. So take that into consideration, all right? There have been amusement parks that have opened. There have been different, different sports that want to open, but certain athletes will not participate, which leaves a big gap in a lot of things. So I understand that. There was a June jobs report that came out yesterday that actually showed an increase in jobs, and which is interesting because, like I said, there's a lot of places that have opened and then closed, but the jobs report doesn't reflect on just June. It might reflect on before that happened, where the spike happened. The jobs report got right before it happened, or it just doesn't show the result of the closings that happened after the spike. What else? Let's see. President Trump decided to jump aboard the stimulus check train and publicly admit that he's on board with that. Not only that, he says that he wants a bigger check than the Democrats have been talking about. He didn't go into specifics about an amount. And the Senate goes on vacation for the next 2 weeks. So a lot of people on vacation right now. But the Senate, this is their last day. They will be working. And many thought that they would take advantage of the time that they have right now to get something out the way, so they do have more time to vacation. So the House passed a bill for, I believe it was unemployment and for something else, if I'm not mistaken. And they're supposed to be sending that through and without any problems, whatever it was. People want an extension on the unemployment because that is going to run out at the end of this month. I think it's the 28th of July. So when it comes to our stimulus check, let me go back to that. A lot of people thought that the jobs report would reflect on whether or not we get one. But people know this is an election year, and to turn down the people is to turn down your vote. At the same time, I remember now what the actual bill was. It was for rental assistance, because also the eviction block, a barrier that they had to help people with their rental assistance is also expiring, so they expanded that as well to keep people from getting evicted. I think that's what it was. Not only that, also probably the unemployment. But I do know it was the rental assistance that they did have a bill for and they pushed through. Also the PPP and the EIDL grant is running out of money, and they want to extend that as well and do something for veterans. But I do not know if they're going to separate everything, because they could have a separate bill for the stimulus plan, the stimulus check. You could have a different bills for all this stuff. The city and the local governments and the state governments need money. They're running out of stuff, and but the good news is certain people are on board to help where help is needed. And different states have taken it upon themselves to have their own stimulus check that grants their residents money for a certain amount of time. Now we have a good 5 months left, because it is now July. And many people probably say 4 months, but I say 5 because it's true. It's the 3rd of July. They could, because at the end of this month, I think that's when our stimulus check will be finalized, whatever it may be, how much ever it may be. By the end of this month, we would know something, so we would have a good 4 months. If they do a recurring payment, they would save this country an economic problem that they don't want to happen. Because right now, our unemployment is at 11%, and there's millions of people without jobs. There's millions of families without food. There's just a big gap, and these folks are taking a vacation on the American people in an election year. So if they want to do it right, they will have a recurring payment for the rest of this year. If they don't want to do it right and they want to act like they don't know what's going on, they will ignore the fact that they are the only ones that are secure with what's going on in this country right now, and leave us to suffer. which is not a good thing when it comes to an election year. So people are going to say things that they really don't mean just to get them aboard and vote for them. Like Trump always says something he doesn't mean. Oh, I didn't say that. Well, he said it a number of times now. He's all aboard for these stimulus checks, and he wants to do it right. And other people are talking about being targeted. Excuse me. About what they do and how they do it. Well, if you're going to be targeted, make sure you target those who were left out. They're talking about the college kids, and there's different proposals out there. Whoever was left out the first plan for the stimulus checks is now being included. We don't know what's going to come out of all this in the end of July. I definitely don't know. I can't see the future if we even make it that far, God willing. But at the same time, if they want to do it right, if we are allowed to see that day where they are able to do it right, they won't leave anybody out, and it will be a recurring retroactive payment to the people to make things right and get things going the way that they should, on top of closing down things again until we are to the point of surety in this thing being contained. Now they're talking about a vaccine that has been very positive and very focused on containing this thing the right way. So they're saying that by the end of this year, they should have a vaccine, which nobody knows if that's true or not, because everybody else has been saying that Dr. Fauci and all the other experts have been saying it's going to take longer than that. And there are a lot of people I know that aren't taking the vaccine no matter what they come up with. So all these naysayers and all these no mask people are probably waiting for that vaccine regardless. So they better get it together. They better make up their mind. They better do what they're supposed to do, because they may not even see that vaccine if they don't do it right. All right, so let me see, what else can I think of right this second? I went over sports. I went over, well, President Trump had a rally in Oklahoma where he was expecting at least 1 million people. And there were teens and a number of people who registered on TikTok or wherever it was to get free tickets. And these certain people did not show up. So instead of 1 million people, there was only 6,000 people that showed up to his Oklahoma rally. Then he turned around and said he wanted to have another rally in Arizona after his Secret Service agents and a number of other people contracted the virus, which makes no sense at all. So there are still protests going on over the deaths of people, young man that I mentioned last week, that was walking down the street, was killed with a chokehold, and they let the police officers go. Did not charge them in his case, and that happened a year ago, I think it was. I mentioned that last week. Other than that, there's been something about Breonna Taylor's case going on. I can't remember what it was. Forgive me. I might remember when we come back to close the show. While I think about what else I'm missing, I'm going to go ahead and give you our new music of the night. And we will come back and I'll try to think of some other things. But we will